Hey guys, this is Raphael, military Roman Grand Canyon University, and welcome back to the show, Navigate Your Yacht. So, here we are. It's a whole new year. We've got finished in 2017 and we're moved on to 2018. Some of you kind of transitioned still in class, but there are a couple of you that decided, you know what, education might be a little harder for my life, or thus and so on. For whatever reason, you find yourself not quitting. I'll never say the word quitting, but need to take a break. So that's what we're going to address today. We're just going to kind of jump right into it and be able to give you a couple of nuggets that's going to allow you to get yourself mentally prepared to jump back into class, because ultimately we know that education does nothing but bring better things to your life. So I've got maybe 5 or 6, 7. So welcome back to Navigate Your Yacht. Then this is Raphael. First thing I want to talk to you about is literally, mentally, and sometimes physically, you just got to stop the slide. Okay? Whatever it is that caused you to stop going to class, whatever it is that caused you to stop going to school, you have to mentally get out of that space and say, I know that education is going to be good for me. So I want to get away from it, because listen, you're in a current situation, but the best part about it is that's exactly what it is. It's a current situation. That doesn't mean that's where you're going to end up. So stop the slide. Literally get mentally back to the space like, I did this, I got accepted for this, and I can do it. Okay, so stop the slide mentally. Just do it. Just stop. Because what I've learned quickly is this: the process itself will feed the fire. But if you get outside the fire, boy, it's a lot harder to stoke it up again. So mentally say, I'm ready to do this, and jump back into it, and just jump in, all right? And through that, you'll have energy to do it, okay? Next thing we want to do is connected to stopping the slide. We talked about the reasons when we first got you enrolled of why you want to do this. And so the next most important thing we want you to do is, as always, reaffirm your whys. Why did you get into education? Why was it that you said the lifestyle that I was living, the place that I was not acceptable? And for me to move on to the place that I wanted to be, whether it's for promotion, whether it was to allow yourself to stand out amongst your peers, whether it's for you to be basically that role model to your kids, or being enlisted and saying, you know what, I'm being told a lot of things from officers and I know it, but I'm not receiving the same respect for the things that I know. I need to get my education up. Whatever it is that gave you the why, I want you to reaffirm that. But then there's a part 2 to this, and what that part 2 is this: not only do I want you to reaffirm your why, I want you to add on to the whys that have showed up since you stepped away from education. Because the truth of the matter is this: the current situation continued on, and it seemed like it was heavy. So you stopped school, and you didn't change your situation, and those whys that you had started you, now you have new whys, because now there may be more bills, or there may be more needs for you to promote. There may be some, or even worse, maybe there's some people that have passed you by now, or you've trained the last person that just took your position. So look at that. Now I want you to not only reaffirm your why, but then add on the new whys. That's the reason why you really want to do this. Okay, so this, and I should have warned you. I should have given you an addendum. I'm not going to sugarcoat today, because ultimately I'm completely and utterly committed to your success. And sometimes a part of that success has to come right to where you are and say, let's get this thing going. All right? And of course, there's been quite a few things I know. You may have run into situations with health, you may have run into situations with family, maybe some relationships broke up. But the truth of the matter is you still have a goal to attain. Okay? So let's go ahead and reaffirm those whys. Now, the other part, and I just got to be honest with you, you got to take responsibility. Because at the end of the day, you know what, my mother used to tell me something, and then I shared it with my soldiers, I shared it with anybody that I was connected to, and really made it a staple into my belief that the only one that you can effectively change is yourself. And so part of that changing really comes down to the simple fact that you've got to take responsibility on whether you gave your best effort. You've got to take responsibility of whether you actually put your best foot forward. Was it that you could have maybe studied a couple more hours, or when you felt the cold feet, or when you felt the weight of life, did you spend a little more time on social media than you should have? Did you spend a little more time kind of hanging out or worrying? Did you spend a little more time stressing? Because what happens is anything that draws you away from your goal, that can be considered an enemy. What I want you to do is be able to get the energy to kill that enemy. But the first part of that, pulling out your sword and slicing that head off, is literally taking responsibility of what you had to do within that action. Okay? So that's the next thing I want you to do, is make sure you take responsibility. All right? And then moving from that, then you want to identify what didn't work. All right, that's good. That's good stuff. Like that's something that my family and I, we do that on a daily basis. We sit down, we take a look at where we are. How were we last week? How were we last month? In this case being 2018, how were we last year? And then we start dicing and slicing. My wife came through the house one day and was like, listen, we're throwing everything out, babe. It's just not working. And so the beautiful thing about when you identify what doesn't work is then it gives space for you to go ahead and creatively understand what does work. All right? So that's what I want you to do. When you start looking at, okay, at your first attempts to go to school, or maybe your second or third attempts, what didn't work? Was I spending too much time looking at videos as opposed to actually reading? Was I trying to find ways out to just answer a question as opposed to really gaining understanding of the wisdom of what was given presented to me? Was I not really participating in my discussion questions? Or even better, when I went to the field, did I mentally prepare to know that I was going to be separated? Did I actually look and give myself an opportunity to work ahead? Did I not communicate with the professor? Did I not communicate with my UDC, Raphael Pizarro, or whoever else that was connected to your education thing? Because what happened is I've learned something. When we find ourselves step away from something, it is not that they would have a chance to make it work. We just chose to step away before we explored all options. Okay, so I want you to identify what it was that didn't work, and then say, okay, we're gonna go ahead and clean the house like my wife did. Get rid of it, it's not working, and now let's open some space to creatively understand how to do it. Okay? And the biggest part, notice a lot of what we're talking about has to do with the mental, like your way you see your education. And with that, I want you to do one very important thing. Don't see education as a sidebar. Your degree is not a sidebar. Your willingness to be able to expand upon yourself, make yourself more marketable, take you and your family to another level, allow for a space where no one can deny you. That should not be an addendum in your life. That should not be something that said, I'll get to it later, or I don't have enough time, but I do have time to sit here and drink, or do some other things like that. You cannot let this be a sidebar. Your education has to be a chief cornerstone, just like anything, like going to work, like showing up to formation, like going to that doctor's appointment, like losing weight, like going to the gym, like working on your diet. It's got to be something that you have committed to as a chief cornerstone for your progression. Because let me tell you, obviously, you know, I'm a military liaison. So a lot of individuals that I've helped have to come from, obviously, the military. And me retiring from the Army, this was huge. The thing about it wasn't that I didn't have enough time. Nah, not at all. The thing that kept me from getting my degree was the simple fact that I didn't put the chief understanding that education was most important. So when I separated, I found myself with all the 100% of my responsibilities of my family and everything that came along with it. And then the military went the other way. And then I turned around and realized, all the education and all the experience that I had nothing to do with when I went to talk to that manager and he told me, tell me a little bit about yourself, and ultimately I didn't get a position because I didn't translate it through my education. This is a real thing, okay? And now with that, and I know I kind of beat you up a little bit in a good way for this last 8 minutes, but now let me kind of give you your warm and fuzzy. We need to stay connected. As you know, my name is Raphael Pizarro. I'm your University Development Counselor. There's so much that's wrapped up into that development counselor part. I want to see you develop. I want to be a part of giving you good counsel. I'm available to you 24/7, 702-283-4436, raphael.pizarro@gcu.edu. And I always tell my students this, it's something that's really cool. If you find yourself in frustration, you should have called me 10 minutes before that. Okay? I want to be there. But you know what? It's got to be a two-way street. You know? You reach out to me, I reach out to you. I tell you, that type of relationship leads to success. But now it's time to get back into the fight. All right, let's do this. All right? Let's get back into it. Let's take the opportunity to stop this slide. Reaffirm these whys. Add the new whys. Identify what didn't work, because you can do this. I remind you that when you made that first decision to go to school, you made the best decision in your life. And I believe that, and I know that, because I look at the lifestyle that we have been blessed with, and it had all start to do with when I took advantage of what was given me. All right? So listen, let's reach out. Once again, Raphael Pizarro, your military liaison. And when you do these things, that's how you get to navigate your yacht to places that you want to be. Don't look for a lifeline. Navigate to a port. I'll see you soon.